Hello everybody and welcome back to Imperator, where we are currently working on rebuilding our economy and reintegrating all of these little guys. It's going to take a little bit, no doubt about that, but a lot of them are very, very well underway already. So that is great. Apparently there's a civil war brewing here. I don't know about that. I don't think that's real. I think we just need to re-update it. So we can take a martial perk here, and let's go ahead and grab Veteran Warrior. That doesn't update it, but we can update it by putting someone in command of this navy. There we go. Yeah, as expected, that's fake. So no actual problem there. I just reloaded the game. Sometimes it does that. It's fine. So at this point, we need to be working on some cities, and Peon is the next location to do, which is up over here. Excellent. There's already 12 out of 15 buildings here. It looks like this is primarily planned as being a research location. So let's build a court of law here, an academy, and then we can just put in a library. No problem whatsoever. That doesn't need all that much. So next up, we should actually be sorting by amount. So we have locations like Shapa here, where we need 13 buildings. So here we can... Well, it produces grain, so that makes our choice very easy. We definitely want this to be a slave location. So we're going to get our 3 slave traders done here. We're going to get our 3 taverns as soon as this month tick happens. Followers of the Fallen Lord, yeah, that's going to be a thing. It's 219 CE, so yeah. Makes sense. Not much we can do about it at this time. But now we can build ourselves our 3 taverns, and then we just need enough money to build 3 forums. And that's going to be... I think we'll have enough to build all 3 on the next month tick, which is phenomenal. So that looks great. We're going to continue to integrate, and a lot of those are going to be done fairly soon, actually. So we're making really, really good progress on our rebuilding at this time. We're up to 273 income. I would like that money to continue to increase. It will go up a lot. How much of that is tribute? 141.83. So roughly half of our income is tribute. Okay, that's definitely going to be something we're going to increase. So we need a new governor in Albania. That looks fine. Any actual colonizable provinces? No, not at this moment. Okay. So I want to check through here. Yeah, Philistia is going to be done very, very soon. So this all looks good. We're going to have these done very shortly. Well, some of them anyway. Some are going to take a while longer, and that's understood. I just want to get a lot of them integrated for now, and that'll be fine. I want to also make sure that as we get them integrated, that we don't have awkward armies, because that would be, you know, awkward. And we wouldn't want awkwardness. So for the time being, I do want to continue to work on some of these cities. So Gordiocome, I completely nailed that pronunciation, and I refuse to believe otherwise. This is a vegetables location. We're going to put in a foundry here and mills, because obviously it's a food producer. We want this to be slaves. So that'll be fine. We are, of course, going to have to wait for some money, and that will come through eventually. Communion of the Way? Very rude. We're going to keep our tyranny high, and we're going to gain some political influence here. We're doing a lot of slaughtering, but we don't have another way of gaining political influence, really, at this moment. So we don't have much option. At this point, though, all we need here is 2 forums, and those will get finished very, very soon. That would be fantastic, because I would love to have this city done. We're going to have integrations done soon, so that means that we're probably going to have to do some more rural locations. So let's get these forums built. And let's see where these integrations are going to be coming in. Well, we know Philistia is going to be very soon, right? So that's going to be in, like, a couple of months. That's really good. Some of these others, like Crete, is going to be done fairly quickly as well. But some of these, like Melitene, that one's going to take a while. So it's extremely variable. Kumuzia is going to be done relatively soon, but yeah, it's going to be kind of all over the place. They're going to be trickling in over the next roughly 25 years. So Philistia is now integrated. We'll welcome all of the people. There we go. And at this time, of course, we need to check to see if there's any rural structures that need to be built in Philistia. The answer is no, not at this time, so that's understood. There's a slave estate here. This should be changed. There's a reservoir here. This should be changed as well. A colonia? Okay, this is going to be really tedious. These are all wrong. Huh. So how do we want to go about fixing that is a question that we need to ask. Well, first off, we don't need fortresses here. This is already a research location. That should be reasonably fine. It's even got the farmers markets there. I wouldn't mind getting this up to population capacity for a metropolis, which, if we remember, is 80. So this aqueduct would do the trick. We could do something like that. We'd need the actual population to get up to 80, but we could do something like that as prep work for getting it going. Now we've got other locations like Guzana out over here. This is a slave estate, and this should be a farming settlement. This is a farming settlement, so at least that one's correct. This is a villa estate. That one should be a slave estate. So this is going to be a whole thing, right? The macro builder doesn't really give us tools for correcting that. So that's going to be a little problematic. I think we'll just have to address that on a state-by-state basis as we work on states. I think that's the way that this is going to have to go. So the policy here is going to be that we come in here, we go to, say, Alana. Alana is out over here, right? Is that the city? Here's the city of Alana. So we would go here, and we would say, okay, this makes cloth. Let's make this be a research city. So we'll do noble districts, courts of law, we'll do citizen districts, and then we'll do academies. And then anything else here would be libraries, but there's nothing else here. In the meantime, we can come up here, and we can say, okay, this is a mine, that's correct. This is deer, sure. This is deer, that seems okay. This is correct. This is correct. This is correct. Earthenware here, what do we have as our... This is all 0. Why is this at 1 of 1? What? Okay, I don't know what's going on here. This is probably because of the wonder here, or the... I think that's what's going on here. The Great Wonder. Yeah, this is probably what's going on here. Okay, for the moment, we could just cancel that. It's not going to be constructed at that rate. So this is earthenware, and we're going to put in a slave estate instead. Okay, so that seems fine, and this seems fine. So that state seems okay. And I think that's how we're going to have to do this going forward. It's going to be tedious, no doubt about that. But that does buy time for money to come in, which will be nice. So Hahakla, definitely nailed that pronunciation, is right out over here. This produces sheep, so we're going to make more sheep in our forges, and that is absolutely understood. We got a bountiful harvest, and we're going to take the money from that, and that's going to be the taverns here. Integration of Marat, excellent. Okay, so we'll do all of that. We'll build our taverns and then our 2 forums. Then I want to go around and check all of this. So horses, that's fine. Sheep, that's good. This is fine. This produces salt, that's okay. Camels, yep. Horses, leather. Glass is fine to make slaves, that's okay. Spices, sure. And fish. This should not be a port. This should, in fact, be a farming settlement. Okay. So that seems good. And then we've got Lada down here that we could also work on as long as we're here. So get rid of this fortress, and otherwise this would be basically just a standard slave city. It's got exotic beasts, so this seems okay. We'd get some mills here. We'd get a slave trader and a tavern, something like that. It's got a tax office. It's slightly awkward. It'll be okay. Followers of the Risen Lord, we need a new Rob McConnett, and that would be this guy. Okay. So that's that state dealt with. We had some integrations, so I want to check our rurals, but looks like rurals are... They have a building anyway. Well, there's another integration. Okay, so let's see here. Okay, so they have a building anyway. Sure. Let's head over to, at this point, Kylorica. So that's going to be up over this direction. Beautiful. and we can do some work out in this state. So we're going to do this by the state level. So that's okay. We produce horses here. Slaves will be fine. So that's going to be slave traders, taverns. We'll do some forums, and that's now good to go. We can call down an omen. That'll be Esther. And we also now need a Rob Arakut, which would be this guy. Okay, so that looks good. Now we've got this city here, and this having a fort in it is not the worst thing in the world, I think. It would control... Ooh, that's a lot of gold. It would control this over here, right? So I don't think that's the worst thing in the world. We could definitely consider bringing this up to level 4. Like this. And then beyond that, this would be slaves. So we would not want to have this granary. We would not want to have this noble district. We would not want this citizen district. We'd put in foundry, and then mills, and then we put in slave traders, and then this kind of maxes out. But we don't need the court of law either. We've got this grand theater here. I don't think we need that either, to be honest. So we can get rid of that and put in a tavern. Okay, now we need to do the rural areas out here. This is a port. I'm going to get rid of that and make that be a slave estate. This is a slave estate, which is fine. Farming settlement is absolutely okay. This is a slave estate, sure. And then out over this direction, slave estate, yeah, that seems fine. This is a city here. Okay, so we would build a foundry. We'd build 3 mills. Sure, we're integrating more locations. That's absolutely fine. We are delighted to be doing that. And then we would put in some slave traders. We'd put in some taverns, and then that's good for now. Okay, this is slave estate, and so is this. And then this is a colonia, which I don't want. Okay, we'll do something like that. Now we have a risk of rebellion in Mycia Inferioris out over this direction, which is at minus 0.17. Harsh treatment would bring that positive, so let's just go ahead and do that. Okay, so that seems good for now. So this is going to be quite a tedious process. There's no doubt about that. But let's see if there's any more rural areas that need to be built. The answer is no. Okay, so next up would be Baghdad, which is spelled with a lot of H's. That's okay. So we're going to come down over this direction. Where was that? Right there. Okay. So that's this state here. Understood. We're going to need quite a lot done here. This is earthenware. I don't think we need this grand theater. We're going to get rid of that. And I don't want this academy either. We're going to do something like this. And I believe our Rob Arakut just died again. Very rude. Nope, that was the Rob Shamreen. Okay, we're going to go with that. Okay, so now we need to come in here. This is a farming settlement. Looks good. This produces opium. I'm going to get rid of the villa estate. We're going to put in a slave estate instead. This produces farming, which is absolutely fine. This is a city here, and this is an awkward city setup. We produce papyrus, so I'm going to get rid of the foundry here, and the grand theater, and the forum. The aqueduct is fine. This will become a metropolis eventually. No commercial district, and no freeman districts. No slave trader. We're going to need to have a noble district, in fact 2 citizen districts, 3 courts of law, 2 academies, and then max out with libraries. Something like that. Okay, so I want to come up over this direction. This is a city here, and having this be slave is fine. We do not need the Grand Theater. So we would put in slave traders, we'd put in mills, and we're out of money for the moment. We'll get there. Our money income is down a little bit for right now, but that's understood. We can come in down here and just get rid of this fortress. It's not necessary. This produces an awful lot of papyrus right now, and it's a very awkward setup. So that is certainly noted. So we're going to need to put in a trio of taverns here and then a forum. That'll be fine for now. Is that actually colonizable? The answer is no. Okay. So this is reasonably fine for now. We've got a lot of diplomacy coming in. I want to check Grum. This is good. Stability drop. Ah, yeah, this guy died of natural causes. That was expected to have happened. So this is good, this is good, this is good, and this is a city here. So that's going to need some work. We need to work in this city primarily for right now, so we can put a forum in there and then a freeman district. We're going to need a new governor up over this direction. That guy will do. We can get an invention, and we were working our way over towards cultural administration, which is absolutely great. Do we want freeman or citizen output here? To be honest, both, but for now we're going to take the freeman output. So that'll be fine. I want to go to pop assimilation speed, cultural integration speed, and monthly political influence. That would be great. How's our culture doing? Hey, look at that. No bug. I like it. So we need to go back to Baghdad over here, and we need to continue to work on this city. Since we're doing this kind of state by state at this point, that's going to be a lot more money in theory, but that's fine. So we've got a shipyard here. Let's get rid of that for sure, and I'm going to get rid of the port as well. This is already a metropolis. The question is, do we want to make this be research? How are we doing on our research? It's mediocre at this moment. I think more research is not the worst thing in the world. So let's get rid of the slave traders. We'll keep the farmers market. We don't need the Great Temple. We do not need the forums. We do not need the freeman districts. I think we'll keep the aqueducts. That's reasonably fine. So we'll do something like that. There we go. And then we can build roughly 1 trillion libraries here. And we can turn this particular city into quite a research powerhouse. Excellent conditions, huh? Actually, that's a lot of gold. We'll take that. Beautiful. So that looks good, and we're going to pour that gold into libraries here and get that maxed out. So we need a new Moor, and that is this guy. I'm pretty sure that's probably pronounced like Moray or something like that, but I think it's funnier to be Moor. And then we're going to hop in here. Let's check rural. Okay, none needed for the integration. And then, of course, we're interested in checking out Digba. So what do we got going on in Digba? Digba is right over here, and that's this province right here. Okay. So that's absolutely fine. This produces dates, so I do not want the Grand Theater here. I do not want this library. We're going to put in a foundry. We're going to put in mills, slave traders, and taverns. There we go. And then forums and a freeman district. Okay, now we've already worked on this city, which is convenient for us. And down here, this is a slave estate, which is fine. Farming settlement looks good. Slave estate, yeah, that's okay. Farming. Farming. This city is not started. Okay. Or, well, kind of started. We're going to get rid of the market here. I'm going to put in a farming settlement. Farming settlement here is okay. We have a market here. This produces honey. I guess that's kind of fine, but I'm going to move that over to a slave estate. And this is okay as well. So the only thing in this state that we need at this point is this city. And this produces cloth, so arguably we could make this be another research city. We're probably fine on our research at this point, is the thing. Probably fine. But I don't know that for a fact. Well, let's just go ahead and make this be a research city for now, and we can change it if we feel like it later. We probably won't feel like it later. So let's get that all going. We're going to need a little bit more money to get our academies in here, but we're now at 12 of 12, so that seems good. So that's this state completely underway. Our ruler is currently unmarried, and we should probably change that. How old are we? We are 27. The youngest available is 36. Well then. Okay. She's also from our family. It's not going to create any problems. Definitely not. So we need a new governor up over here. That would be like this guy. And I want to check our rural constructions. Aha. So there are some rural constructions that we can do here. Specifically, we can build one slave estate, and we'll do that. Okay, so that seems fine for now. Next up would be this location, which is out over here. Okay, understood. So there's a settlement here. There's a fortress there. I want to get rid of that, and we want a logging camp for sure. There's a city up here. This is very much a slave city, but it's not completed. Let's put a tavern in here and a trio of mills. That'll help flesh it out, but that won't quite finish it. Then, of course, there's this city here, which is not started. And we're going to need more money for that. So for now, I want to check on these settlements. So this is looking good. We need to switch this from a slave estate to a farming settlement. This settlement is good. This switches from a slave estate to a logging camp. Slave estate is fine here. No slave estate, logging camp. Logging camp here as well. Slave estate here is fine, and here. Okay, so this is the only location that we actually need to work on at this point, and we need to put in a foundry. We're going to get going on that. And then, of course, we're going to need a trio of mills. We'll get those done as soon as we can. But we're going to need more money before we can max out this province. Now, if we look at our number of locations that we're currently integrating, this is a lot better. We're down to 220% reduction on our monthly political influence at this point. So that's definitely a solid improvement. I think the highest that I saw was a 380%. So that means we've integrated like 16 of these. That's making very, very good progress. I'm pleased with that. So we're going to get a couple more slave traders down here. Evangelism is happening in our lands again, which is not surprising in any meaningful way. But let's go ahead and get this month tick done. There we go. And we'll get a couple more slave traders in here, as well as a couple more taverns. All we need now is one more month tick to get these 2 forums. And then this state will be done. So that looks absolutely fine for now. Any moment now, we'll get that month tick. There we go. And let's get that done. Okay, cool. So now we should probably let our money build up a little bit before we do too much else. Looks like Olby and Alistria are fighting again. Very rude of them, but we're still just hard chilling right now. We're still in recovery mode. Our treasury is improving quite a lot, and... we'll gain the popularity. I don't know if he'll get vengeful or not, but it doesn't really matter. It's fine either way. Okay, so Debozen has now been integrated as well. Wonderful. Let's check to see if we need any rural constructions. There's one slave estate that can be built. Okay, sounds good. So that's all absolutely fine for now. The real question is, how long before we are at a point where we want to start reconquering the ones that we were forced to give independence to? And the answer to that is, we're getting pretty close to that point. No doubt about that. Okay, so there's apparently a civil war brewing. This guy that we just said, forget him, is disloyal. He's also the leader of this navy. I'm just going to bribe him. We've got a fair amount of political influence for right now, and it's fine. He can move up to here. I don't care. That's completely okay. So we've got some money at this point, but can we build any logging camps? No. We can build a farming settlement. In fact, we can build 3 of them. Let's get those going immediately. And then the question is, can we build anything else? Well, the answer is no. And that's fine. So let's hop in here and let's go to Golba next. So that is out over this direction. Okay, so that is this state here. Now, we've already built a couple of farming settlements here. We've got this fortress here, and I think that's fine to keep that there. Let's move that up to 4. And then beyond that, this is trying to be a slave location, and we'll put in a mill. There's a city down over here that's also trying to be a slave location. This seems reasonably okay. We'll do a mill, we'll do a slave trader, and we'll do a pair of taverns, followed by a forum and a freeman district, like that. So that got fully completed. I like it. Up over here, slave estate is fine. I don't want a town commons, so we're going to head up over here. Hunting camps? I mean, it's fine. It's furs. So slave estate is okay. Yeah, that's fine here. Here, we definitely want some production. This is a city. I didn't realize that. But yeah, this is definitely a city. Let's get a foundry in here, and then we'll come back to that. I want to check down here. Slave estate is fine. Farming settlement and farming settlement. Okay. So that all looks good for the moment. Let's get ourselves a trio of mills over here. We'll need a little bit more gold for that. And Lower Egypt needs a governor. Sure, we'll put this guy in. Actually, there was a Scorned family. I should have done a Scorned family member there, but that's okay. Back out over here, we're going to need to continue to work on this location. So that means that we need a couple more slave traders. This guy just died. He was the Moor, and that's okay. We need a Davidite. Okay, so that sounds good. I'm assuming we have one. Yep, there we go. Wonderful. So that will be absolutely wonderful. We got another integration done here. Beautiful. And someone else just died too. Yeah, we'll deal with that in a moment. For now, I want to get this money spent. So we need a slave trader, and we need 3 taverns here. Then we're going to need a forum. Okay, now this location, literally right next to it, needs a governor. So we will do that. Cool. So that seems fine for the moment. We're going to get a pair of forums in here, and then all we need financially is the money for a single Freeman district here. So let's get that done. We're definitely seeing our income grow. We're up to 309, and that's making very solid progress. We're going to see that just continue to snowball again until we can't spend the money as fast as it's coming in. So that will be absolutely wonderful. Let's check in real quick on our diplomatic relations. We're now down to 190. Excellent. We can build a farming settlement, which we will do. We cannot build any logging camps, but we can build a slave estate. So let's get that going. It is time at this point to put a cut in here, so I'm going to go ahead and do that. And next episode, we're going to continue this constructing spree because we need to get a lot of building done, and we're actually making really rapid progress on that at this moment. So that is great. I see that Olby took over all of this. Very rude. You can leave your offerings to the engagement gods in the form of likes, comments, subscribes, and bell ringings, and a very special thank you to all of the channel members for making this video possible, including ALS Gamer, Andy McGar, Dark Horse, Xenocyte, Upper Cumberland Gamers, Nick Smarty, Dimitri H, Punching the Microphone, The Lounge STL, and all the rest. And of course, you. Thank you for watching. If you'd like to support the channel, you can click the join button down below the video, and as always, I will see you all next time.